All that,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Good.
From the whole.
we knew, because we had Christmas at Mom's on Sunday, so we knew she was going again. But they don't let anybody know until they get there in the afternoon, so
Yeah.
what they had, but yeah.
That's exciting. Good for her.
Pages on the board meeting agenda?
This is a long one.
We ever made 3 pages on this? We're almost there. Is she?
No, but we've had some packets with 250 pages in it.
Mm-hmm.
What's this one? Did you look how many pages this one was yet?
Yeah.
That would be
a few.
a novel.
How many trees did we have to kill to print today's board packet?
Don't worry, I kill a lot of them every day. I own a printing company, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much you throw away every day.
I don't know. I do 3 million postcards for Panda every quarter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That keeps you busy.
Sure does.
much so that the sheriff and undersheriff, well, we call him chief deputy, has to take those assignments. That shouldn't be that way. I'm a retired deputy sheriff from all 22 years. And our sheriff, chief deputies, they would go out if they wanted to go out. They didn't have to sit there and fill slots. No, I don't know the answers to it other than more money. And you're so fortunate to have the sheriff's department that you do have. You might not realize how important that is. If you would know the chaos that's going on throughout the whole United States, and I think a lot of you are very intelligent, you know what's going on. We don't have to play any game. I guess I don't know what'll keep the deputies. You can't afford to lose anymore and still keep the sheriff's department at a good high level. Only thing I can think of is the reason was mainly money. They're able to get in other counties or PDs or whatever, and they're able to just get more money. It's not anything to do with the department as far as the sheriff's department at all. It's just that they see where there's more money and they track themselves to that. Now, right now there's, as far as post board certified, law enforcement officers, they're all going to the cities where I've got friends where they're making $90,000 to $100,000 a year. Well, that is quite a draw, ain't it? Now, we know that this county can't afford anything other than I think they deserve more of a pay raise. We know what they make. We know after they've had their time in grade what they make, and you can go and get jobs for, well, starting out pay, you can get jobs right in Alexandria, working in a factory, doing some kind of a labor type of situation. You don't have to be certified through the board. You don't have to have any of those other requirements that they have to go to school for 2 years now. And things are gonna get really worse after the first of the year, I believe. And you know it, I know it, so somehow or another, you gotta fill them shifts. You don't have to sit there and make the sheriff and the undersheriff, chief deputy, I shouldn't call him undersheriff. You shouldn't have to make him have to work all the nights and have to fill them slots and everything just so that you have a few or two deputies to take calls and everything like that. These two should be able to go out if they wanna go out and do whatever they want to do. They got enough clerical work to do, and they got enough other situations and things like that. So that's about all I can say about it. I don't know what the answer is other than to pay more money so you don't lose any more than you already have, and I don't know how you're gonna cover your shifts. What are you gonna do? You get them from the PD, and they've probably got the same situation, And as far as Hennepin County Sheriff's Department, that has had to grow immensely because a lot of the suburbs, their PDs, they went and took and had sheriff contracts. It's unbelievable. The PDs can't find people, so they have it all under like Hennepin County Sheriff, So all I'm saying is we should, see, I live Little Sauk in West Union area. You can't afford to lose any more, and I would say you better find 3 more and fill them shifts. You gotta show your sheriff, you gotta show your chief deputy that you're behind them, even though the rest of the judicial system is having very serious problems. We all know how that works too. That's all I gotta say, but I will be maybe coming to a few other meetings, you know, and just see if there's some way we can do something about it. You can't afford this. You can't expect the sheriff to have to be taking these shifts and everything. Well, that's all I got to say. And I hope you can do something about it. I don't know how you're gonna get into the recruitment program, but I actually know of some of them that are taking the schooling in Alexandria. They have dedicated themselves to different PDs or sheriff's departments. So they have all these enrichment days and everything where everybody goes to try to lure them into their, they're already spoken for in most cases. And the sheriff's department should be the #1 law enforcement in the county. And please just back them. That's all I got to say.
Well, thank you, and thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks.
I'll just sit back here.
Okay.
Huh? Oh, yeah, Denise brought us one. Hi Kathy,
Hello.
Oh, 100%.
want me to sign something?
I mean, you know,
We just gotta find the money to pay him.
it's the day of free agency. I mean,
Everywhere is free agency.
yeah, you got skills.
Somebody's always willing to pay more.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I forget, what is it, 12/19?
And you
Yes.
gotta, you know, you gotta have a place that's,
All right,
people like to work for them too, you know?
my headache's starting to go away a little bit,
I
so,
mean, no,
but still like in a little,
Kathy, yeah,
little
thank you.
fog. Just foggy, so, but hopefully it'll get better as time goes.
Good thing you sent out the message, I would've.
so.
I would have finally looked at my planner maybe and found it, but it was a good
Work with
message
everybody,
this
you know.
morning. Too many other things going on. Yeah.
One bad egg can ruin a whole mess.
What's that?
to give them a heads up too, so.
Yeah, too bad they had it that long, but
Right.
Right.
It is ready now.
Okay. All right. Good morning, Todd County. Welcome to Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, Todd County Board of Commissioners regular board meeting. Today we have joining us Commissioner Noska, Commissioner Byer, Commissioner Becker, Commissioner Denny, and Commissioner Newman, along with Auditor Treasurer Denise Gaida and Coordinator Chris Pelzer, and the County Attorney is absent. With that, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, good morning. Is there any amendments to the agenda?
I have none, Mr. Chair.
Okay. With that, I'd ask for a motion, please.
So moved.
Motion by Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Consent items.
Consent items today are meeting minute approval for December 7th, 2023. Hire social worker Haley Dalen, start date 12/2023. Approve the 2024 tobacco licenses, and Deputy Auditor Treasurer full-time Rachel Mittendorf, start date 12/21/2023.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Okay. BB. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Todd County Fair, Egg Society. Come on down. And then state your name and what you got planned.
David Holmquist, Gerhard Hendricks.
Welcome.
How's it going?
Good.
We're just here in request of days for getting set up for the winter demo and what we can negotiate for that. We'd like to be able to have access to the fairgrounds starting the Monday prior to the event, if need be for setup. And then we would pay rent the day of the event and any other electrical use that would be occurred during, while we'd be there getting set up and whatnot.
Okay. Is there any questions from the board? Okay,
I think you never know how much snow there's gonna be, so you kinda need a little time to get rid of it, so it was kind of a concern for that, so.
And if we don't, you know, if we don't need all them days to get set up, we definitely won't be there just to be there, so.
Right.
okay. So David, you want to read, can you read the board action? It's in front of you too, I think, too. So just read the background and then the recommendation.
Okay, Todd County Fair and Todd County Ag Society is requesting to rent the fairgrounds for the Todd County Winter Demolition Derby, which will be held Saturday, January 20th, with a snow backup date of January 27th,
Okay,
24. The Todd County recommendations approves for the following motion. Approve the Todd County Fair Ag Society to rent the fairgrounds for the winter demo scheduled 1/20/24, snow date 1/27/24. Also allow the Todd County Fair Ag Society to use the fairgrounds at no additional rent fee to prepare, set up, and clean up or take down through Monday 1/15/24 through Sunday 1/21/24. and/or Monday, 1/22/24 through Sunday, 1/28/24. Todd County Fair Ag Society will pay utilities for the days listed above.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you've heard the requests. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I could, David, you guys got insurance through the whole time, even during setup, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, we have a year-long policy.
okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, City of Long Prairie.
Oh, here?
Morning.
Morning. All right. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing us to present here on this abatement. There'll be two different portions. Obviously, we have just kind of a brief discussion, informational items about the tax payment being requested. But first, I'll introduce Ted Gray, City Administrator.
Skip Duchesneau from DW Jones.
Andrew Duchesneau, DW Jones.
And I do have two individuals online. Todd Hagan is from Ellers Financial, who has been working through the abatement process with us. And then Carl Buchner from American Foods is online as well.
Okay.
So in your packets is a request for a tax abatement to go against the 4th Street Apartments project. DW Jones is requesting $200,000 of those collected funds, with the city looking to partnership with Todd County for the remaining funds over 11-year period to go towards housing. But first, I'd like just to turn it over to DW Jones to Skip and Andrew to describe the apartment project and what it's for and the process that we went through.
Yes, thanks. So many of you might be familiar with the property that we built, and we came before you and asked for a tax abatement for 2nd Avenue Apartments located in Long Prairie. And that property is going to be very similar in looks and feel to what this 4th Street Apartments property would be, with some minor changes. But the intent is to be a high-quality building in very similar design. We're requesting the $200,000, which is substantially less than what we requested on the 2nd Avenue Apartments, to help offset some of the additional costs that we've incurred with the multiple sites that we've been working on. We really wanted to be in the ground this year. We've got higher construction costs. We've multiple engineering, surveying, and all those fun things with rotating sites. The 4th Street Apartments site, I think, is ideal. We've got great streets for access. It's a very flat site. There's not a single tree to remove. It will serve the intended purpose quite well. Andrew can just walk through just a little bit of the details of the building, and then we're happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Yeah, so I'll give you just a quick overview of the building. So 4th Street Apartments, it'll be 61 unit, 3-story elevator building. The overall footprint is 29,075 square feet, with a grand total of 87,049 square feet across all 3 floors. It's sitting on 2 parcels for a total of 6.43 acres. We've got a 60-foot buffer to the northern property line and a 108-foot buffer to the southern property line. What we're proposing is to have a double row of trees that follow both of these property lines. For the parking, there's a 106 surface stall parking lot. And then there'll also be 18 tuck-under garages for the tenants to use. As far as the unit makeup, there's going to be 17 2-bedroom, 1-bath units spanning 939 to 1,036 square feet. There'll be 22 2-bedroom, 2-bath units ranging 961 to 1,225 square feet, and 22 3-bedroom, 2-bath units ranging from 1,248 to 1,306 square feet. Each unit will have a full range of appliances with dishwashers and microwaves. For the common elements in the apartment building, each floor will have laundry machines, so it'll be community laundry. And then the building will be equipped with a secured entry system, video surveillance, and there'll be an on-site caretaker. And then we'll have, for exterior, we'll have a patio with gas grills and a tot lot. So that's really quick, I know, but if there's anything specific you want me to get into, I can dive into that.
All right, is there any questions?
Question for you, what are the projected rents on something like this? What is the, proposed, like if you're a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom?
So the 2-bedroom, 1-bath proposed rents are $1,080 to $1,125. The 2-bedroom, 2-baths, $1,125 to $1,225. And the 3 bedrooms, $1,248 to $1,306. And they vary because of size of the units. There's
Square footage?
Yes, there's a kind of a host of different floor plans.
Utilities are separate then?
So this will be a hot water baseboard heat building, so heat, water, sewer, garbage are all included in rents. What would not be would be their own electric and internet cable. So the predominant utilities are all included.
I suppose we don't know our projected tax revenue on this at this point? Or maybe it was in these slides that went by really quickly.
The other projected tax revenue is in the run that was provided in your thing. It's the start there. It's a TAF program with inflation. So it's estimated where the taxes would be accrued there. If there is questions on that, I would turn over to Todd Hagan just to maybe explain a little bit what we're looking at with the TAF program for the Department of Development and just a brief explanation on the tax abatement.
Okay, any other discussion?
Todd, you're on silence.
Or mute.
He's coming.
The Zoom.
All right, can you hear me okay now?
Maybe-
Testing 1, 2, 3.
You might want to speak up just a little bit more.
Yeah, can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, we prepared a estimated cash flow similar to what tax increment sort of looks like, but this is a tax abatement program. You know, we take the base value, as you can see there, the 2 parcels at 418 4th and 435 4th Street have a total of $103,700 of original market value. Then the next page, or if you scroll down, the new project value that's projected from you know, your assessor on this, it's I think much higher than the previous one the developer had talked about that was built in Long Prairie. We're at $7.754 $1 million and some change there for the 61 units. So the difference between the two is what we'd be capturing as tax abatement for the 11-year period. So if you go to the kind of just that next, the middle part there, the total taxes would be $122,619 per year. That's from all taxing jurisdictions. But what we would be doing here is capturing the county's additional taxes caused by the new improvement and the cities. So we'd be looking at total there at, well, for all of them would be $109,429. But if you go to the next slide, you can kind of see the cash flow of your portion and the city's portion there. There's 2 columns at 100% city there and 100% county at your current tax rate. So the abatement will change, you know, every year a little bit. So we've got a 1% inflation factor on this, just thinking that the project value will, you know, appreciate every year. 1% is probably pretty conservative. So you can see it growing as it goes down. So those are semi-annual tax payments. So you can kind of see what yours is. every year, but as far as, yeah, increasing the tax base, yeah, this project pretty much goes from, what we would say, let me just take a look here. Yeah, like $1,200, right, per year or so, gets it going to like $110,000 per year on the growth as far as from base value to new value. So it is on a tax exempt piece of parcel. The city owns it right now too, so we would not be taking anything away from that shadow value, we call that. So there's a little bit that won't be captured. We will still have that distributed to all three taxing jurisdictions as tax increment sort of works. So we're not gonna bring that all the way down to the beyond the land value. So it is actually just gonna be captured from what the value would be if it was taxable to what the new project value is after completion. So if this project gets built in 2024, it'll be assessed in 25 for a full tax value in 26. So we wouldn't, either the city or the county would be putting this new abatement levy on in 25 for collect 26. So there's a little bit of a lag here on this for, making sure the project gets built and gets up to full value, so.
Thank you, Todd. Is there any questions regarding the abatement run that we have there?
I wish we had a county attorney here.
I got a question, maybe it's not, if anybody can answer. So maybe Todd can answer this. You said the market value is 103,000 now, projected to be 7.7 million. Did I get that right?
Yep, correct.
So these capture tax capacities and, the beautiful spreadsheet here, is that that's using our calculations?
They got that information from our database, yes.
Yeah.
And then they
we get
reached
that
out to
from
assessor.
the county and then the county assessor to the auditor and the assessor, yeah.
So I mean, not today, but seeing these numbers, these are pretty, like, take them to the bank type numbers or
Yes,
pretty
because
damn close?
what they do is they send us this report prior to doing this, and they collect all of our rates.
Right.
And then they reach out to the county assessor and get what his projected value is going to be on it. So these are set to our rates, so this is correct data here.
Could I add one thing for you that might be helpful? This is a pay-as-you-go tax abatement. So say the county doesn't assess the building as high, right? And the value is lower. We only get reimbursed on what we pay in. There's no liability on the county or the city for it being too high or too low. It's adjusted for what actually gets paid. So there's no risk.
Yes, yeah, I could hear you a little bit on that, and it's what we call a pay-as-you-go situation to the developer. So they only get what they generate. Yep. So it's gonna fluctuate every year a little bit.
And worst case scenario, if we didn't pay taxes, there would be no payment. Not gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, just so
Right.
you understand that.
Yeah.
The-
So they either
the onus is on us.
They either get to the amount first or the term first, and then there's no obligation to make anybody whole here. Yep.
Mr. Chair, if I could, what's the number of occupants do you see living within inside this building? I mean, do you feel you're gonna have, per se, families? I mean, you're looking at 61 unit apartments, how many people are we actually looking at?
We did not expect to, we will not have any doubling up in bedrooms, so to speak. So there wouldn't be, unless it's a husband and wife situation, then it's fine. But we would not be overcrowding. We have a tenant selection criteria, which unfortunately I did not bring with me today. But when we come to the public hearing, I will have that for you, or we can provide it in advance too. That our lease and tenant selection criteria have maximum number of occupants based on the unit size. A two-bedroom unit, I believe, would allow up to 4 people maximum, and a 3-bedroom, a maximum is 6, if my memory is correct.
Okay.
One other, another question, and this 61, right? 61, is that the number? 61 is today. I've been to quite a few of the city meetings. There's a possibility for further expansion, or no? Is that, am I right or wrong there?
No, our site, this is all
This
that
is what
fits
it's gonna-
on the
that's what it's
site,
gonna
all
hold.
that is being built. If there was ever to be more, it would have to be a separate project.
Separate, yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Ted, you want to read that background?
Yeah, so again, we've talked about a lot of those items. There's a few, the city's portion of this request still to present. So what the idea is that, again, the developer's asking for about $200,000 to pay for some of their developmental costs. What the city is looking at, as the request is to partner with the county to receive the tax dollars that would be abated to go towards other housing projects within our community. So the leftover dollars would be leveraged against possibly additional grants. State of Minnesota, with their previous session, set aside large sums of money in the amounts of, during the government walls, they'd signed a $1.65 billion housing anonymous bill with the largest single investment in housing state history, which would bring the housing to over $1.3 billion in dollars to be pursued. So within that, right now, we don't have other grant opportunities, but we are aware of some that'll be coming for matching opportunities. So for example, if we pair a partnership with the county on these collected dollars, we would basically, the city would use its reserve funds to, let's say, match up to $500,000, get a $500,000 matching grant from housing finance to pursue housing development in town, to create a, which would then create tax base at that point. So we're basically leveraging these dollars for future housing development within our community. And that's kind of the goal on the backside of it, because again, the developer is only requesting a very small amount of the overall project costs to, again, assist with where the property is going to. So, with this discussion, that's the goal of and asking for the next part of the board action form, which would be the next request, is to call for a public hearing to then allow for the commissioners to approve for the abatement itself. So really the task at this point is just to provide the background information on the project itself, what the city's goals were with the additional funds that we collect over that 11-year period. It's basically to reimburse the city for housing projects that it would try to incur, as well as pursue matching opportunities.
Okay. So what we have in front of us is 2 different board actions, okay?
Yep.
So the first one here is requesting $200,000 of collected tax funds to cover development costs associated with the property.
Yep, this would be the, just the information on that. So the next board action form in front of you, which would be, so this is just kind of the informational side of things. We want to provide background on what we're looking at pursuing with the project. The second board action form is actually the request to call for a public hearing to approve the abatement, which would then allow $200,000 to go towards the developer, and the rest would be collected, as I described, as a partnership at that point. So that board action form is what we're asking for is to call for a public hearing on property tax abatement to assist D.W. Jones Long Prairie Packing Development with the properties located 418, 434 4th Street South, as well as City of Long Prairie, with provide workforce housing for future assisted workforce housing projects within the City of Long Prairie. And so following that, the agreements for that $200,000 would follow at the public hearing.
Mr. Chair, if I may, that very first one, if you want to, that's just a discussion item, so you don't need to take action on that
Okay.
first.
All right,
Tax abatement.
so the second
So
one is
we'll
the
go
one
to
we
the
want to
second
take
one.
the
I
action
think-
on.
So just for clarification, that first one that reads tax abatement request, that was just information Ted from the City of Long Prairie was providing.
We've got to
So
have a public
no
hearing
action on
first.
that. So I'm going to move, am I still on this, or you? So no action on that 6.1, and now we'll move to 6.2,
Got it.
okay? I
Yep,
think it was getting confusing.
okay.
So, yeah, like I'd stated, the second board action form is the resolution calling for the public hearing on that
Exactly.
part. So we wanted to make sure we presented the information first in a discussion format, and then as well, then offer this. So basically, this is just calling for, to hold a hearing for the approval or denial of the tax abatement request.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question? How is the school involved in this? Because last time the school denied,
So
correct?
when we originally proposed this, it was a TIF request for workforce housing.
That's correct.
The school had denied it for various reasons that unfortunately we're not able to present the facts and findings that we were going with here. In the end, for flexibility purposes, the tax abatement seemed to make more sense for this project, which is why we're proposing a tax abatement.
How is the school tax? Are they going to be abated also or not?
At this time, they're not.
They're not.
They would receive their tax dollars for associated with this project. They, and Todd can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they still have an opportunity to participate in this project as well.
Yes, they do have an opportunity to participate. Each taxing jurisdiction has to consider approval of a tax abatement. So, yep, so far it's the county and the city and the school right now at this point is not being requested, but they certainly can any time within a reasonable period of time here before the agreement gets approved. So they would also have to hold a public hearing, but we're not asking of them right now.
And we do hope that eventually they would. You know, they had actually discussed at their September meeting the need for housing for teachers and staff at that point. So it was kind of odd at the point why the TIF was denied at that stage without a presentation on our end. But as we move through this process, like I'd stated, the abatement is another tool we can use to go for the larger taxing jurisdictions, which is us and the county, the city and the county, and the school can participate as well.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one more question?
Yep.
I'm not looking for a detailed answer. I'm just gonna spitfire this, the request for 200 grand. How that number was kind of put together, given the fact that you stated that, the current property that you're gonna proposing to build on, there's no tree removal, there's really not a lot of excavating gonna have to be done. No, you gotta do with stormwater and, there's water and there in the park already. So the fact that you've saved a bunch of cost already in doing that, the 200 grand came from?
Well, the Marquette Street site also had water and sewer. There were no trees on the site. There were some on the edge next to the power transfer station. But we had similar things. In that particular case, the city was going to use the tax abatement to do street improvements, to pave Marquette and build sidewalk to school and some other things. For us, predominantly, by having this delayed a year, our costs have increased more than $200,000. We just.
I'm sorry, say that again, your cost
I said our
increased?
costs will have increased more than $200,000.
From the first project?
Right. Alone, more than that.
Well, I'm sure it's, we've
not
had
counting
high inflationary periods, I'm sure, yeah.
Yes, not counting all the work we did on the first site that.
Even with the topography change and everything like that? Because Second Street or whatever, the one over by Senex that's a way looking different lot than these lots are. And it was a private sale, right?
Not Second Avenue site, the Marquette Street site.
Marquette, I'm sorry, yeah, right.
There was some dirt work movement to do there. But we just opened in October of this year, an apartment building in War Road, 65 unit, very similar building. We're building a second building there across the street, the exact same site. The project cost, just construction between the two with no changes, was $600,000 more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Exact same building, 1 year later.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
It's real.
Oh, yeah, we see it every day in grocery stores and everything, so.
Right.
Okay, any
Thank
other
you.
discussion? Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
This is for the public hearing.
So yeah, the resolution
hearing
should be
for the public
attached for.
hearing.
Yes.
I move that we, okay, my glasses on here. I so moved.
Okay,
That work for you?
yep. Motion by Byers. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Noska. Discussion. If none, roll call vote.
Oh, sorry.
Do
Sorry.
you have to have a date in there, Randy?
What's that?
Do you have to have a date?
I believe the date is, I don't have my packet. It's, it would be next meeting, more maybe January 16th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
January 16th.
Yep.
2024, 9 a.m. Okay. Denise?
Yep, I was just waiting if you were done. Commissioner Byers,
Yeah.
Commissioner Noska,
Yes.
Commissioner Denny,
Yes.
Commissioner Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Newman.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. We'll see you the 16th.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going back.
Time on the 16th.
So you want to hit,
What time?
9 o'clock.
I am.
9 a.m. Right on the resolution.
No, that is, I know, but I'm saying.
This is gonna be-
Okay, thank you.
Auditor Treasurer.
Yes, we're moving right along. Today I present the approve the commissioner warrants, background is done, peer review. I have to get this larger even for myself. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $119,161.12.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, roll call.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item I have then is the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants, background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $340,016.45.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move for approval.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
The next item I have then is the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $211,933.58.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Danny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion. If none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
The next item I then have is building improvement budget transfer request. Background is the Todd County Board approved multiple building improvement projects during the 2023 calendar year for the Todd County Fairground location. These projects were approved with funding supported from the Building Improvement Fund. In order to align funds for tracking audit purposes, a budget transfer from the Building Improvement Fund to the Fairgrounds Repairs and Maintenance account is attached for a recommended adoption. Your options are to approve or do not approve the request, and it is the recommendation to approve the attached budget form to transfer $26,976.32 from the 2023 Building Improvement account to the 2023 Fairgrounds Repairs and Maintenance account for audit tracking purpose, and it is a budgeted item.
All right, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved to transfer, or
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Noska. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Next item would be the Todd County Park and Trails 2023 appropriation. The background is, see the attached letter of request from the Todd County Parks and Trails Board. Your adoptions are to approve the resolution or do not, and the recommendation is to approve the 2023 Parks and Trails Appropriation Fund for $9,000 from the Todd County Allocation Funds to the Ted County Parks and Trails funds. It is a budgeted item.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
The next item is to the transfer of funds from the South Country Health Alliance funds. Background is Todd County became a member of the South Country Health Alliance as of January 1, 2007, and further resolved to withdraw from said alliance as of December 31st, 2019. As part of the exiting terms, capital payments with interest are scheduled to be returned to Todd County. The fourth and fifth installment payments of principal and interest have been receipted into the Health and Human Service and Community Health Funds per audit standards. This receipt of payment represents full and final payment of the equity of Todd County in South Country Health Alliance. The Finance Committee recommends transferring these funds to Fund 1, the general fund, to assist with the budgetary essentials of the county. Your options are to approve the attached resolution or do not approve, and it is the recommendation to approve the attached resolution for the transfer of funds for the South Country Health Alliance. And it is in the amount of $1,195,133.39, and it's just being transferred where it was receipted into Health and Human Service and Community Health, and now it's being transferred to the general fund.
Okay. You've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to transfer.
Motion by Becker, second by Nazca. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
The next item I have is the 2024 Public Defender Contract. Background is Todd County is responsible for providing a public defender services in certain type of cases. Peter's Law Office has proposed a contract renewal for 2024. Peter's Law Office has provided the Todd County Board a summary letter for consideration. Your options are to approve the contract or do not. The recommendation is to approve the contract with Peter Law Office for public defender services for Todd County for the year 2024. And it has the financial implication there, and I will note that there is no rate change from last year to this year.
Okay.
Or from 23 into 24.
All right, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, Finance Committee.
I'm just rolling here. The next item is the 2023 Budget Amendment Administration. Background is the county has taken a proactive financial approach in budgeting for retiree severance payouts in the general fund. Due to a retirement in Fund 1, Department 31 Administration, the Finance Committee recommends to amend the 2023 budget to help align and realize budget to actual amounts for the fiscal year 2023. Your options are to approve the budget amendment or do not, and it is the recommendation to approve the attached budget request form in the amount of $30,908.68 for Department 31 Administration for the 2023 budget year. And it is a budgeted item.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Nazca. There's a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
The next item is to rescind Board Action 20230207-35 SciTech Grant. Background, at the February 7th, 2023 Commissioner Board meeting, a request for financial support was presented for SciTech in applying for the Minnesota Border-to-Border Grant. There is no financial commitment if the grant isn't awarded. Since the grant was not awarded to SciTech, the funds were not spent. Your options are to rescind or do not rescind. It is the recommendation to rescind Board Action Form 2023-0207-35, allowing the $5,000 committed to be available for other purpose projects brought forward to the Board of Commissioners. So we're just rescinding that motion because the grant was never approved.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move to rescind.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
The next I have is ARPA Fund for Broadband Survey Approval Final Project Amount. Background is on the May 3rd, 22 board meeting, the Broadband Coalition requested funds to conduct a broadband survey. The Board of Commissioners approved an amount not to exceed $20,000 for the survey. Distribution and advertising costs related to the promoting the survey. The actual costs incurred were $3,659. The Finance Committee recommends approving the final amount for this project cost at $3,659 and allowing the remaining funds of $16,341 to be available for other proposed projects brought forward to the Board of Commissioners. Your options are to approve the final amount or do not approve, and the recommendation is to approve the final amount of ARPA funds previously authorized via Board Action 2022-0503-20 for broadband survey cost at $3,659 and allowing the remaining funds of $16,341 to be available for other proposed projects brought forward to the Board of Commissioners.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
I'll motion.
Motion by Nazca. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Chris, do they realize that they have to pay back the county the difference?
So, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Becker, there's not actually any repayment to the county because what they turned in invoices for expenses that they had at the
Okay.
time that they had them. So they have only spent that $3,600 some
Okay.
dollars, and the rest of that is still sitting with the county.
Very good, thank you.
That's what we're doing with all of these board actions. If you notice, we're doing shoring up numbers year end. Where we didn't spend, we're bringing back, or
Right.
realigning accounts.
Cleaning up. Okay, any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
And here's another one, ARPA SLFRF funds for Assistant County Attorney Approval Final Project Amount. Background on 7/20/2021, a request was made for the use of ARPA funds to hire an Assistant County Attorney to increase the increased speed of case resolution and reduce backlog of court cases due to COVID-19 pandemic. The position is now funded within the county attorney's budget for 2023, and the need for ARPA funds is no longer exercised. The estimated cost for Assistant County Attorney was $184,086. The actual cost incurred were $178,188.02. The Finance Committee recommends approving the final amount for this project at a cost of $178,188.02 and allowing the remaining funds of $5,897.98 to be available for other proposed projects brought forward to the Board of Commissioners. Your options are to approve this motion or do not approve, and it is the recommendation to approve the final amount of ARPA funds previously authorized via Board Action 2021-0720-21 to hire County Assistant Attorney cost at $178,188.02 and allow the remaining funds of $5,897.98 to be available for other proposed projects brought forward to the Board of Commissioners. Again, aligning numbers. Making sure every penny is going.
You've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
And another item I have, the 2024 county budget. The background, the county board has approved the 2024 preliminary levy on September 5th, 2023, and has held the truth and taxation hearing on November 28th, 2023 to solidify the public input prior to the 2024 county budget's final approval. Your options are to adopt the attached resolution or do not adopt, and it is the recommendation to approve the attached resolution adopting the 2024 county budget as presented. And there's the resolution, and these are the financial numbers that we have gone through at TNT, showing the revenues and the expenditures and the budget, and it's a balanced budget.
Okay. Heard the request. Is there a motion?
So move to adopt the 2024 county budget as presented.
Okay, motion by Becker. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Nazca. Discussion. I just want to thank everybody, the finance committee, department heads, and everybody working together to get this down to 388, so thank you to them. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
The next item I have then is the 2024 county levy background. The county board has approved the 2024 preliminary levy on September 5th, 2023, and has held the truth and taxation hearing on November 29th to solidify public input prior. And you can options to adopt the attached resolution or do not adopt. It is the recommendation to approve the attached resolution to adopt the final 2024 county levy at $20,021,195, less program aids of $2,090,297, therefore certifying the 24 levy, final local levy at $17,938,898.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers? Nope, Oscar.
No buyers.
Byers, got it right. Okay, discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Administration.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two board actions this morning. The first one is a Hands of Hope Resource Center lease renewal. And so the background for this is a lease agreement with Hands of Hope Resource Center for 2023 is set to expire on December 31st of 2023. The Hands of Hope Resource Center has expressed interest in renewing the lease agreement for 2024 for space utilized in the Main Street Government Center with a 2% increase in the rental fee terms. So the options are to renew the Hands of Hope Resource Center lease agreement as presented for January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. Do not renew the lease or renew with different terms, and the recommendation is to renew.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to renew.
Thank you. Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Nazca. Discussion?
If I may. So the 2% was what they requested to, is that something they agreed on already then? And
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Naska, this is something that we started doing with all of our lease agreements, adding a 2% per year.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've agreed to it and.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next board action that I have is to adopt changes to the Personnel Policy Article 2, Definition of Terms, Article 3, Section 3.15, Article 7, Section 7.05, to reflect the new law changes related to earned sick and safe time, which is ESST as we refer to it. So with that, effective January 1st, 2024, Minnesota's earned sick and safe time law goes into effect, requiring employers to provide paid leave to employees who work in the state. The law recognizes an employer's existing leave policy may already meet Minnesota's ESST requirements. Todd County's personnel policy requires updating to reflect the changes in the law. The options are to adopt a resolution with changes to the personnel policy related to earned sick and safe time law effective January 1st of 2024, or to not adopt, and the recommendation is, of course, to adopt, since it's law.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Becker. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Tim.
Second by Denny.
No.
Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to thank Chris for the time that she has put into this mandate that was handed down by the state.
Yeah. So just a little bit of background on this, a little more than what I spoke in the board action. I do have the draft policy. You want to hit the Word document, Denise?
What do you want me to do?
You're in the PDF.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. So in this Word document, we did update the definitions just so it's clear to employees what this actually means, and that's on page 7. But we get into kind of the meat of the document. Really, page 12 talks about how this new law requires that time that employees earn to be available to them as soon as they earn it. So currently, our policy says that you can't take sick time until you're done with your 6-month probation. We have to now allow that time off immediately, once they earn that. And the new law states that you earn 1 hour for every 30 hours of work if you work 80 hours in a year. So for most of the people that we have hired here, most of our employees, they fit into this category. The other big changes that come through with this are on page 30, I believe is where that starts, and that talks about how we are going to compute that time off. And because our current policies are very generous, our paid time off policies are very generous, our sick leave actually meets this for all of our full-time employees. So for some staff, they currently already are getting their accruals per pay period. For other staff who get their accruals monthly, we'll have to bump that up and they'll get their accruals per pay period so they can get that as soon as it's earned. We do have some staff who currently don't receive any type of paid leave, and that would be our temp staff, potentially paid interns, and then some of our other staff who work part-time hours as part of their contract, they don't have sick leave. They will now be getting this ESST leave. So just to be clear with that, that will be in an addition to what currently is taking place. So staff who don't get anything will get straight ESST. Staff who do currently receive sick time, part of their sick time bank will be designated as the ESST bank. ESST in itself, if it is separate, completely separate from sick, does not need to be paid out. So the policy addresses that as well, that we will not be paying out ESST time if it is strictly ESST time. When an employee leaves and comes back, the county needs to track that time, and we need to reinstate their bank. So this law brings a lot of additional overhead for county administration and for management as well across the board. And this is what I would call an unfunded mandate. So with this also, we have to notice employees about this change in law that will go into effect on 1/1. And Denise, if you want to click on that PDF document that's down there. So we have, the Department of Labor has put together a template that counties and all employers can use. I mean, this law affects every single employer. Even if you have one employee, this will affect you. So we need to notice employees, and this will be sent out as soon as the policy is adopted by the board.
Okay. Any other discussion? We can thank Governor Walz and the legislator for this one, so we do have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Great. Did I double up on that?
I have a question though,
Yes.
Commissioner Newman. So I saw that it said you can have a maximum of 80 hours. Is that ESST to carry over?
Yeah.
Is it a use it or lose it type of thing then?
So you can accumulate 48 hours. You have to be able to accumulate at least 48 hours in that first year. And then the second year, your max bank of ESST, we can set that to be 80. It has to, at minimum, be set at 80.
Okay, so then they stop earning once it hits 80.
They do, and then that time rolls into their current sick bank.
Oh, okay.
So ESST for most employees is a part of their sick bank. It's not in addition to. But for staff who don't get any time, then they get that straight ESST, which would be for us an additional expense.
Yeah. Okay. And elected officials don't count.
Elected officials do not count.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. We're gonna move on. Public Works, Lauren?
And Mr. Chair, I'm going to excuse myself to hit another meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Good morning. We got employees, 30 of them in St. Cloud.
That's gonna hurt.
Take care, State.
Our one item on the agenda this morning is a request to change the title of the assistant to the engineer position and engineering supervisor positions to the title of senior engineering technician. The background with this, with the recent retirement of Carl Pung, who had filled the assistant to the engineer field position, we were working with the Personnel Committee and the HR Department to update the job description, which is the current process when filling a position. And we realized that the positions of the engineering, assistant to the engineer position field and engineering supervisor really don't reflect what the current industry is. Therefore, we're requesting to come in line with what the industry, the engineering industry and the construction industry sees, is to update those positions to senior engineering technician. Basically, this is consistent with every other county in the state. So when people apply for a position, they know kind of what they're looking at. So with that, we reviewed that job description, we updated it, and we reviewed this topic with the Personnel Committee. We're bringing this forward for consideration by the board. Therefore, our options are to approve the elimination of the assistant to the engineer and engineering supervisor position titles and replace them with position title of senior engineering technician for both with the enclosed updated position and job description, or do not approve these changes at this time. Our recommendation is to approve the elimination of the assistant to the engineer and engineering supervisor position titles and replace with the position title of senior engineering technician for both with the enclosed updated position and job description.
Okay, heard the request. Do we have a motion?
A motion.
Motion by Nazca. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
MIS. Lisa.
Good morning.
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 I'm here to talk about a little bit about, I have a budget rollover request, a little background. There was a project we didn't quite get finished in 2023, so we have some extra funding in one of our line items, so I'm hoping we can get this carried over to 2024 for another potential project in 2024. So my board action is a 2023 budget rollover request. The attached budget request form is there. The options are to approve the attached budget request form or do not approve the attached budget request form. Recommendation is to approve the attached budget request form to carry over $15,000 in the machinery and equipment maintenance to the 2024 budget year.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So move to be able to carry over funds.
Okay, motion by Becker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Planning and zoning, Adam. No discussion on this.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Adam.
My first item this morning is for Highway 27 salvage, a request to extend the CUP decision deadline. An application for a CUP to establish a salvage yard on parcel 21-000-6801 in Round Prairie Township was submitted on October 16th, and this application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the December 7th public hearing. The Planning Commission took public comment and conducted their board discussion, and the Planning Commission tabled the item to accumulate additional information and request that the commissioners extend the application decision deadline by an additional 6 days. Your options are to grant the CUP with conditions, deny it, or to remand it back to the Planning Commission for further consideration. The recommendation is to make a motion to remand the item back to the Planning Commission for further consideration and extend the application decision deadline by an additional 60 days.
All right, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
A motion to extend the 60 days.
Okay, motion by Nazca. Is there a second?
Second that.
Second by Commissioner Denny. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Second is the Alvin Borntrager request for CUP. This application for CUP was to establish a retail greenhouse on parcel 13-001-6902 in Iona Township. This was submitted on October 24th, reviewed by the Planning Commission during the December 7th public hearing, and the final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to grant the permit with the conditions below. Options are to grant the CUP, deny the CUP, or remand it back. And the recommendation would be to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and grant the CUP to parcel 13-001-6902 with the following conditions. 1, the greenhouse operator must provide adequate off-street parking for all greenhouse traffic. No parking will be allowed within the road right-of-way. 2, no loading or unloading of materials will be allowed within the road right-of-way. 3, the business is restricted to the construction of a single greenhouse. Construction of additional greenhouses will require the review of the Planning Commission. 4, business signage must abide by Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance. Placement of signage within the road right-of-way shall require approval from Todd County Public Works. And 5, that the applicant must obtain additional permitting and or licensing from additional government agencies as necessary. And the site image is in the packet there along with the other associated information.
All right. Heard the request. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Danny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
By Byers. Discussion. Did the township answer?
No, we did not hear anything from the township on this one. We always notify the chair and the clerk, and we had no response from Iona Township on this one.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, did you have a motion by Denny and a second by Byers or Becker?
Yeah,
Byers?
Byers.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify for my
TB.
notes.
Okay. Any other discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried, thanks.
Okay, next is the Mark Sieben request for CUP. An application for a CUP to expand an existing feedlot from 552 animals to 920 animal units on parcel 0600172000 in Burnhamville Township was submitted on November 9th. The application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the December 7th meeting, and the final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to grant the CUP with the conditions below. Options again are to grant the CUP with conditions, deny the CUP, or remand it back to the Planning Commission. Recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and grant the CUP. I'll finish reading this first. The CUP to parcel 0600172000, 0600173000, and 0600016301 with the following conditions. There should be no stacking of manure within 300 feet of Molly Creek. 2, that the applicant shall apply for an NPDES permit coverage with MPCA. And 3, that the feedlot owner shall abide by all their applicable federal, state, and local standards. The reason for the additional parcel numbers in that is because when they initially applied, they had those parcels in their application, but they also applied to combine them into a single parcel. And in that interim time, that has been completed, so it is just the one single parcel of 0600172000.
Okay, has everybody seen the map and location? Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Denny, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Noska. Discussion?
They made the comment during the meeting that it's the weight of the birds. That's why they're requesting the additional animal units, because they went from bigger to laying hens, from 1 pound, or light hens to heavy hens. So I said the total amount of pounds is why they're changing the units.
So they have more total number of birds, but ultimately same amount of weight of bird. And the reason that the animal units increases is because the way the MPCA's animal unit counts are calculated, it's still the same category. So the animal units are calculated kind of goofy, so you won't see any physical change to the site. They'll just be able to get more total number of birds under the roof they have there because they're raising smaller birds.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, C&K Ready Mix request for CUP, an application for CUP for a year-round operation of a ready mix plant on parcel 25004300 was submitted on October 5th. Application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the December 7th public hearing with the final recommendation from the Planning Commission to be to grant the CUP with the following conditions below. Options are to grant the CUP, deny the CUP, or remand it back to the Planning Commission. Recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and grant the CUP to parcel 25004300 with the following conditions. One, that the wetland delineation shall be completed and submitted to Todd County prior to issuance of the land use permits. Two, that the applicant shall maintain dust control on the site. Three, the applicant shall apply for MPC industrial stormwater permitting and provide verification to Todd County prior to issuance of land use permits. And four, that the applicant must abide by all other federal, state, and local standards.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ooh. DB. Motion by Becker, second by Byers.
Yep.
Okay, discussion.
Yes, they're coming off onto Highway 10, or are they going to go north on the gravel road?
They will go on to Highway 10. They have a new driveway already built. I believe, my understanding is they have to remove the old driveway, and they're working with DOT to create a better turnaround, because that's a major concern. But they've already gone and had those conversations and things, plans are in the works to get that stuff addressed in the roadway for truck traffic.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, carried, thank you.
Okay, moving along. Next, Chris Herron's request for rezone. An application for rezoning of the northwest quarter of Section 11, which is 40 acres in Kendota Township. This is a portion of parcel 1400-10600 from R10 to AF2 zoning, was submitted on November 13th. This application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the December 7th public hearing. Final recommendation from the Planning Commission is to grant the rezone with the conditions below. Options are to grant the rezone with conditions, deny the rezone, or remand it back to the Planning Commission. Recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and grant the rezone with the following conditions. One, that all future land uses shall abide by the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance, and two, that the landowner shall abide by all their applicable federal, state, and local standards.
Okay, I've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion.
So what was his, did he say what his goal was for rezone?
Yeah, so that,
Beef cattle, right?
yeah, he wanted to graze that and potentially put up a small building or something to be able to have cows there. He bought that on an auction recently. All the three 40s kind of around it to the, I think, east, southeast, and south are all AF2 already. And so to make it a contiguous parcel under the same zoning was ultimately his goal.
Okay.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried, thank you.
Okay, and lastly, Dairy Ridge LLC request for CUP. An application for CUP to expand an existing feedlot on parcel 1800-40700, Long Prairie Township, from 2,373 animal units to 3,357 animal units was submitted on November 13th. The application also included the construction of 2 total confinement barns, expansion of existing barn, construction of a new liquid manure storage basin, and expansion to a feed storage area. This application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the December 7th public hearing. The Planning Commission tabled this item to accumulate additional information and request the commissioners to extend the application decision deadline by an additional 60 days. Options are to grant the CUP with conditions, deny the CUP, or remand it back to the Planning Commission for further consideration. Recommendation was to motion to remand the item back to the Planning Commission for further consideration and extend the application decision deadline by an additional 60 days.
Okay, for the request, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to extend the deadline by an additional 60 days.
Okay, motion by Noska, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion?
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
I had a constituent call yesterday about this topic. He's done a fair amount of research on it, and one of the concerns was, will there be eventually a cap on the number of cattle on that facility? Supposedly, there's 21 counties in the state of Minnesota that have capped the amount of, cattle or hogs or whatever there. Some of them have reached 5,000-6,000 head counts. So if that's a consideration, I'm not, being fairly new to this, I think something we better, I'd like to at least answer him, at least say it'll be to consideration or we'll do more research, but if you can somehow incorporate that into the discussion in the future, that'd be great.
Yes, and the feedlot ordinance is on the agenda for the upcoming planning commission meeting. That fits right in line with the topics of discussion to have there to
That's a
see.
discussion.
Yep, that's,
Planning commission will have to have.
yes, and I will include that to my list of things. That initial meeting will be a lot of public comment, a lot of input, discussion things.
No.
And that will be included.
So right now, what we're doing is we're just voting on the
60
extending the
days.
60-day rule.
Yes.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. So, any
Thanks,
other
Adam.
discussion?
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we have one more,
There's
sorry.
one more on here.
Hey,
I apologize.
hey.
Yeah, so I don't think I printed this one in my packet. So last is the amendment to section 9.20 solar energy system of the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance. If you remember, this came a couple meetings ago and we sent it back to the Planning Commission to look at it a little further. But section 9.20 of the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance has been reviewed by the Planning Commission during the June, July, August, September, October, and then December public hearings. We missed November because that's when it was here for review by the commissioners. Attached is the proposed language of the amendment as recommended by the Planning Commission. The proposed amendment was presented during the October 17th Commissioners Work Session and during the November 7th regular Commissioners Meeting. This proposed amendment to section 9.20 is ready for official action by the County Board of Commissioners. The options are to adopt the amendment as recommended by the Planning Commission, remand it back to the Planning Commission for with considerations, or do not adopt any amendment at all. Recommendation is a motion to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and adopt the amendments to section 9.20 of the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance. And recalling back to when this was in front of you in November, there was a question about environmental review. That's the one change, was that we just added a blatant line that said that environmental review shall be conducted in accordance with Minnesota Rule 4410. And the full proposed ordinance is in the packet there.
Okay. You've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be done now.
Solid waste.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Mike.
The first board action we have in front of you today is revenue generating BAF. The Todd County Solid Waste Ordinance requires businesses that collect and transport waste to obtain a hauler's license for their business and to permit each vehicle each year. The Solid Waste Department has received 6 licenses and permit applications for 2024. Attached was the summary of the table explaining what we've received so far. We are missing a few little items for a couple of them. The options is to authorize the Solid Waste Department to issue license and permits contingent upon receipt of necessary documentation, or do not authorize or issue license or permits. It is a recommendation of the board is to authorize the department to issue these licenses and permits to the haulers upon receipt of proper documentation.
Okay. If you heard the request, is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Noska. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Yep. And the second one is exciting to hear, the authorized advertising for bidding of our new transfer station. The department has received $6.8 million grant dollars from the state of Minnesota to construct a new transfer station. Our consultant, Stantec, submitted a permit application to the MPCA in May of 2023. MPCA said it would have the permit drafted for public notice in December of 2023. While the MPCA has not issued the public notice, its staff has notified us that the application is adequate. The department requests permission to advertise for bids in January of 2024, and Stantec will have the bidding documents ready by then. The options is to authorize the Solid Waste Department to advertise for bids in this transfer station, or do not authorize to bid. It is the recommendation to go ahead with the solid waste department to advertise for bids of the transfer station project.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
I'd be more than happy to make the motion to advertise for bid.
Amen.
It's been a long time a coming.
Motion by Becker. Do we have a second to that?
I'll second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? I agree. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would just like to offer thank you to the committee for all the efforts they've also helped us with through the last changes that has happened there. So yeah, we're excited for the change. It'll be good. We're ready to see the bids and get them open. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Health and Human Services.
Good morning, Mr. Chair,
Morning.
Commissioners. We have a couple board action forms here to present in front of you. The first one being the request to hire a sanitarian. Some background, Health and Human Services is requesting to hire a sanitarian to facilitate the environmental health program and the food, pools, lodging, local delegation. And we have attached the job description for your review. Options are to approve the hiring of the sanitation or to not approve. It's our recommendation to go ahead and approve the hiring of a sanitation. We do have this as a budgeted item because this position will be self-supportive.
Okay. Heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Noska. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Second one is a request for the Hilltop Regional Kitchen ARPA request. Some background, the Hilltop Regional Kitchen was allocated $10,000 of the ARPA funds to address the wait list for home-delivered meals. Since there is no longer a wait list, Hilltop Regional Kitchen has requested using the remaining $7,354 for the convection oven to keep up with the increased demand for meals. See the attached quote for the oven. Lutheran Social Services, or LSS, would cover the remaining cost of the oven. Your options are to approve the $7,354 ARPA fund towards the purchase of the oven for the Hilltop Regional Kitchen, or to not approve. It is our recommendation that we go ahead and approve the $7,354 ARPA funds towards the purchase of an oven for the Hilltop Regional Kitchen.
Mr. Chair, if I could, I think we have to have some discussion because of what happened earlier in the meeting. I think we have to deny that, and that fund has to go back into the county ARPA fund. Then if the Hilltop Kitchen would like to request ARPA funds for our oven, they would have to do it through those steps. Am I correct, Denise?
That is correct. I was going to mention that in discussion, that it should take the proper steps. We're kind of like doing the cart before the horse here.
Yeah.
We should be aligning the funds that were not used and then having a board action come with the new ones. And since it's over 5,000, it should go to the finance committee first, any ARPA money that's spent.
Yeah, we just did it in the finance part of Section 8.
Okay.
So if I would, Commissioner Newman, I would make a motion to deny at this time and send the regular ARPA funds back to the county with the request of Hilltop requesting ARPA funds for a stove.
Okay, thank you. Do you want us then to start with the finance committee, or how do you want that?
I believe
clarify
it
that in
should
the
start with the
motion?
finance.
Finance Committee, yep. So we have a motion by Becker to deny, so that the funds get returned and then they reapply in 2024 for funding for a new oven. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Second by Noska. Okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
We're moving, man.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
It's a day, I tell you.
Standing
But it's just what we did.
Standing reports.
Good job, Barb.
Auditor Treasurer.
At this time, we're just so swamped with year-end reports and aligning all these numbers and balancing the books. So we're pretty busy with that, and I'll leave it at that, business as usual. Thank you.
Okay. There's no county attorney, no coordinator, commissioners report, Commissioner Denny.
For the meetings I had, everything was dwarfed by the news that Mike Everly told about the finally going out for bid for the solid waste project, so just happy that be part of that and that's going through, so that's all I have now.
Mr. Becker?
On the 7th, I attended the Region 5. It was their annual meeting with awards handed out that night. On the 12th, we had a correction meeting and the advisory corrections meeting. We also had personnel and wellness meeting. On the 13th, we had department head and finance meeting. On the 14th was soil and water policy and Rainbow Rider meeting. Tonight, we have a corrections meeting so we can approve the, what's it called? That Chris just said, our funding for the state hand down. And then I just received notice that we got approved for the Mississippi watershed.
Oh, nice.
So that was a very good plus.
Okay. Commissioner Byers?
I was able to attend the planning and zoning meeting with Tim last week, was it, I think?
Yep.
A wonderful meeting, they did a great job, and I guess tomorrow we start with opioid and other stuff, so that's it.
Save
Okay.
time.
Commissioner Nazca?
It was a lot of business as usual, you know, the Fair Board, the Winter Down with Derby, it was nice, we gave them an extra few days to set up, worked out good. We're still in negotiations for Todd County Development Corporation Director. I think we need to do a little work, acquire some more funding to make that work out, hopefully, but it's in the process. And I was fortunate enough to be questioned by the auditors for fraud. It was a 10-minute meeting, wasn't much. It was just a quick bump in and out, so it was good. But that's all I have.
Okay. And I had on 11th personnel.
It was like 10 minutes.
13th department head, finance. 14th was a long one. I think that tied my record with Commissioner Becker. I think we had 5 meetings last Thursday, so it was policy committee, water and soil, then we had solid waste, and then I went back to water and soil, and then I ended up in Lowry at Rainbow Rider. So that's all I have, and with that, we will.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I totally forgot this underneath my packet. We did receive at AMC the Excellence Award to Todd County for outstanding experience in workers' compensation for the year 2020 through 2022. So that was presented to us, and I just thought I would let the board know that in the community, and we'll have administration frame it and put it out with our other awards, so.
Nice.
Yes.
Good.
I forgot to mention that, but thank you.
All right. Is there anything else that needs to come in front of this board at this time? If not, we will recess to the 29th,
28th.
28th. Thank you. All right. We'll start the work session at 10:30.
Tick, tick, tick.
That's good.
All right,
We're there.
Sorry.
right on time. Okay, welcome to Tuesday. Oh,
Hurry and
that
wait.
thing's a little slow, isn't it?
Oh, I know.
It's one of those days.
You watching TikTok over there? Or-
This might be.
Are we ready? Okay. All right, welcome to Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, Todd County Board of Commissioners Work Session. We have 4 items on the agenda today. We're going to start out with the expanding model jail practices to support children of incarcerated parents. Good morning.
Good morning again. So I have John and Kim here. We had applied for a grant and recently found out we received it. So it is expanding the model jail practices to support children and incarcerated parents. So it's a big win, and I told Kim, you know, it'd be nice to kind of come to in front of the board and share this opportunity. And we have Mike there in the back that can ad lib because this will be affecting him as well in the jail. So
Okay.
Yeah, so welcome, Commissioner Byers. It's nice
Thank
to see you up there.
Nice to see you.
We just wanted, I'll just give a little recap. So MDH had this grant that came out. They were really looking at the trauma that kids face when their parents are incarcerated and ways, not just ideas, but evidence-based practices that could help kids, like simple things that we could do to reduce that trauma they face of not having their parent with them. And so we looked at it, we were really happy that the sheriff's office, the jail, they're really supportive of us doing these things. Some of the simple things are just paint and carpet, so our visitation area is pretty correctional looking as it would be, but we're looking at doing paint, carpet, having, I feel like I'm really loud, having double books, so like the incarcerated parent can read to their kid or vice versa. You know, it's just simple things like that that kids can do when they see their parents, so when they walk in there that it's not so scary. The other thing that Sheriff Allen looked at too was the court holding room, along with Judge Benson, got the okay that we could turn that into a visitation room as well. You know, do the paint. We have a local artist that's gonna paint murals on the walls. Took out the picnic table is there, do the carpet, have toys there, projects that kids could do, face-to-face visitations with their parents, along with child protection, they could resume their visits if they have that. It's quite a pendulum shift with the correctional system to more of humanizing those that are incarcerated. So we know that those parents will eventually get out. What are the ways that we can support them, but maintain that relationship with the child? So MDH also has evidence-based groups on Parenting Inside Out and Circle of Security that our jail social worker will be doing with the inmates. We have a CP staff too that will be trained in it along with our jail programmer. So we have plenty of people that are trained to continue these groups, but also we can look at ways maybe after how we can kind of tweak the groups so it's an ongoing thing. So like Jackie had said, the other thing was they all have iPads, so we can do communication, whether it's school conferences or if their child gets home from school and has a bad day, that they can talk to their parent, and so it's not that big hole that they currently face. And so like Jackie said, we did get approved for the $50,000, but we also got approved for up to $65,000 each of the 2 years for this grant. So we looked at other things that we could do that could be impactful. A couple of those things are transportation so that we can pay the gas for families to get to the visitations. We're looking at iPads for all the schools, so if there is a conference that they're not, I don't want to say inconvenience, but that they have the extra technology available for that. Wellness kits, we talked to Carleton County, and they already have this going on. They were through the first session of this grant. They have a whole wing dedicated to parents, but some of the things they looked at or that they do are wellness kits for the caregivers. So just simple things in there along with like recordable books and animals. So that's part of that we're gonna add to that extra 15,000 that we got. And then we're training that third person. There's also a conference that we can send our staff to virtually. It's through like in Arizona, so we're gonna do that as well. And then we also thought an iPad that a family could check out if they don't have the technology in their home, so it has internet on it so they can access their parent as needed too. So just looking at different ideas for 2025, we're looking at doing more groups with Jody from Wellness in the Woods. She's been really fantastic too at looking at ideas of things we can do, not only with our current jail programs, but in the future. So it's nice to partner with her. A lot of community partners. We're also looking at other ways we can help in the schools and maybe partner with corrections as well. So we're pretty excited about where this is going. Do you have anything you
I
wanted to
don't, I'm
add?
checking off my list as you're talking, I think you've covered the points that I have. I'm just
Okay.
thinking in our child protection and child services, having connection with parents and their kids to maintain that and continue to engage them while they're there is gonna be huge for us, instead of having them come out and then have a kid that doesn't wanna see their parent, and then we're kind of at a sitting point, so it's a big opportunity for us as well.
For sure.
So just wanted to share those wins as we receive them, and I thought it was great that John and Kim went out and applied for that grant, and we were one of few that got it, so it's kind of nice to see that, and it helps on our budget as well, so, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see 3 months or 4 months or 6 months what the program is actually doing and how it's working.
Yeah.
Including with the sheriff back there too. Yeah.
Commissioner, it's nice to see the two different departments working so closely together and using our resources together as a positive.
Positive way.
A lot of excitement around it on
Yeah.
both sides.
You know, we talk about that prevention, this is a part of that as well, that we work with our families. It's a way for us to get inside and work with them closely and keep an eye on the family structure and the families and really support what their needs are. So it's a win in my eyes.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
No.
No?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, keep us informed what's going on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next is the 2024 board meeting schedule.
Right, and I bring this up just so that you guys can be looking forward that when we make these decisions at that first board meeting, that we're thinking ahead so we're not having to change. Looking at this board commissioner date that we submitted here, the one that the few that we question is the March 5th one is the presidential primary election day, and that does pull Jolene and I away from the office because we are having to go to the precincts. And so that might be one that you might want to look at, changing that date. And then as we move down, definitely adjusting the one for the general election on November 4th. That's an absolute must, being it's a presidential. There's no way that I can be here clerking this. My backup to clerk this would be Jolene, and we're the two top administrators for elections. And then, of course, your AMC one, you'll have to adjust that December 6th one. So just looking ahead, look at your calendar, kind of think, and then year end, that December 30th one, you have to remember we have to have so many days to pay the bills after we have a board meeting. So doing that one so late in the calendar year, we may need to adjust that one as well. And I'm telling you that these are ones we should look at when we do that.
Are you thinking the Thursday before the 30th then?
Well, that would be the 26th.
Yeah, I mean, the day after Christmas, but.
I know. Yeah, that's the kind of the date we were kind of shooting for too.
I don't really want to do that, but, or do we have to put it on a Friday, the 27th? I don't know.
And then we have to remember too, we have to have so many days we need to post this. We have to have a
Right.
3-day
Right.
post. So I'm just, these are some really difficult ones coming into 2024, and I want you to put some thought into it. And if you need to, even call down to my office, especially Jolene, since she's the one that builds this board packet. And she's the one that runs the election calendar as well, just so we coincide and get some dates there. That was my main concern in bringing this one up, is that you're thinking ahead of those, especially the 3 on the bottom here. The P&P one would be one I would ask for too, but I mean, that one's, we could probably get by with that one, but definitely these have to be adjusted down here. And then the next item I have is board protocol, and that I just established a draft one here. All I did was change the dates. You can review that one too as well and see if there's anything you would change or amend on those, but it's pretty standard. It's just talking about when the meetings are, what a special meeting is and how you can call a special meeting. Presiding officer does like that, just kind of parliamentary procedure and how we handle it, the minutes, order of business, what happens. And so if there's anything you would want to change on this or amend, that's something we can look at when so I've included this draft in here as well for you guys to look at and review for the upcoming, when we go through it. Because I just like when I come in January and I bring all these, and they feel like they're so rapid, like I feel like you haven't had time to review them. So I really encourage you to review them and see if there's anything you want changed, or if we can even change them. You know, it's board protocol, so we might not be able to change those kind of items. They might just follow parliamentary procedure. And then my last one, these kind of all go in order, so I'm just trying to wrap it up. We really need to look at the 2024 Commissioner Committee. I did hand out the sheets for you to look at, and when January comes, at that meeting, I will literally go through each line item and read it and tell who the delegates are and when your meeting times are. And if I don't have the meeting times, I may put you on notice to tell me when they are, because you're the ones attending them and I don't know when you go to them. So, you know, so that's, and I can get you a bigger copy if you don't want the little copy, because I got bad eyes.
You don't want any recommendations on that right now. You want those.
You guys can talk about it now. This is a work session, so this is when you should talk about it.
I had a request from Kathy Langer to do our Todd Wadena Community Corrections, the advisory board, a different day. Because it's always on the same day stacked. And if we could, I mean, it's just 3 times a year. So if we could reschedule it to a different day, because things get so cluttered up in there, and it's that ends up being a long evening. So.
Sure, I
You
mean,
want
and
the
if you come up
advisory
with.
board on a different meeting than the regular correction meeting?
Yep.
Oh, so that you'd be adding 3 more dates of
It could
meetings
be
then?
3 days a year. I mean, we would set them as we go. It's not a lot. It's 3 different days. It's just that's at the request of her, because it feels like it gets a little too much in that one meeting, stacking them together.
And which one was that, can I ask?
The Community Corrections Advisory Board. We meet 3 times a year, spring, summer, and fall.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually after a correction board meeting.
Okay.
Because
I
usually
see.
we meet at 5 to 6, and advisory starts at 6.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets to be, you know, since it's 3 times a year, sometimes that one gets to be a little.
But wouldn't that have to be approved by the board?
It would have to be approved.
You're out till 8, 9 o'clock, and
For that to happen, it would have to be approved by this board, it'd have to be approved by the Wadena County Board, and then it would have to be approved by the for the correction
We
board.
have to talk about that, and we
So
can.
it would have to, it's not just our decision.
Right, so that's one that Kathy should probably work on when you guys do have this meeting in the
Yeah.
spring?
Yeah, well, and we can.
Well, she could probably work on it
We'll see
even
her
now.
tonight.
Yeah, talk about it tonight then
Yeah,
with her and.
talk about it with her tonight about how to move forward with that, if she wants to talk to the other.
Right.
Because we can set, those days don't have to be set, so we can set that day at our meeting, our regular meetings, set the day we're gonna have it.
Right.
That works for enough people to be there.
Right, yeah, this is just a open session,
Right,
work
yeah, and
session to
that's
discuss
just
it.
one of the recommendations I had there.
Okay. I will just highlight that one and note that you'll be working on it with Kathy.
Yeah.
Okay,
So is the assumption I'm taking over all of Rod's stuff?
Well, I think we're gonna have to go piece by piece
Piece
to
by
it,
piece,
because
so, yeah.
it's been all over the place since you guys came in too. I mean, everybody is new.
So we want to go through this, yeah.
And I don't know if you wanna do it today?
well, it's a work session, so you can.
Okay, and
So
have
that you're ready
discussion,
for the
who wants
January meeting.
to do what? Yeah,
Yeah, so if we go down, starting with the all commissioner assignments, those of course are dedicated to all of you, that first block.
okay, under that Minnesota Rural County caucuses, we have to put more people under,
Alternates.
alternates because we go to those meetings and then
Yes.
we can't speak or we sit and listen.
That
Because
is
we
correct.
nodded-
When we went down to AMC,
Yeah.
because we didn't have somebody listed.
And also in Fergus
couldn't
Falls
vote.
too, yeah.
So,
And they'll meet at most of the AMC, like the fall conference and.
Yep, spring
The winter
conference.
one.
so
Yep.
if we leave that as Tim Denny and then Lou Nasca alternate, would you like me to list all commissioners as alternate then?
If we can, I think
Yep.
it's good, so
Well, as an
whoever's
alternate, I
there.
can, yeah.
Yep,
And then this would be five.
Because we do post that if there's more than 3 of us attending the AMC conference, so,
yeah.
you know, if there's 3 of us sitting in there, you know, at least we have somebody there that can vote.
Okay, and then, so if we get to the strategic efficient government committees, we have a leadership, well, that's always the chair and the vice chair.
Yeah.
Personnel is always the chair and the vice chair, policy is chair and the vice with an alternate. Insurance committee,
Insurance committee I'm on, and I'm up if someone else would like to sit in on that one. That's if someone's interested, and what it does is it goes through when we get the insurance quotes back.
Yep.
So
And
if
they meet a
anybody's
couple-
interested,
How often was that one, Barb?
we meet, what do we meet, Denise?
Couple times.
Is
Yeah,
it-
it's
and
it
always,
says as needed, I'm not on that.
What
so-
time of day?
oh, it's always in the morning.
Morning.
Yeah, well. I'm out.
Because it's always during the daytime, because
That's when all these are.
it's the
Right, well, then
employees.
out then.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just have that one as a circled question. If
Yep.
somebody wants to pick up your category, that's joint ditch 5 and 8 committees. That is Becker, Denny, and Byers.
Yeah, because the location of that, so that would be Bob,
Okay,
would be in Farad.
and then safety committee with facilities, Becker and Byers.
Which one are you in now?
I am at.
Safety OSHA?
Safety
Safety and
Oh, yeah,
OSHA.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's usually during the day also.
That's a day,
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, I can make
And that meets the fourth Friday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So some of these we've tried to make a set time.
The wellness committee is, I would really like to give that up. They meet at 2:00 in the afternoon, and usually I'm here until 10, and then I come back at 2, and if it's corrections or something, then I got another meeting at 5. So if someone wants to do that wellness, it would sure.
2 in the afternoon usually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually at 2:00 in the afternoon,
The wellness committee?
the wellness.
And is it monthly or what is it?
Yeah, well, it has been more than that. It's actually been every 2 weeks, I
It
think they
kind
have.
of goes in how often we have events that are coming up.
Yeah, you know,
So you might have a lull in there where you don't meet, but like,
Christmas parties. coming
yeah,
up.
and it's your fitness room downstairs they take after, you look after, it's your,
and the wellness committee is getting more and more attention because we are getting Sourcewell money.
yes, we are,
Getting what?
Sourcewell
Oh.
provides us money
yeah.
to enlist
If it's something
wellness
you
in
could
the
take, Bob, being you're right here in Long Prairie,
Well, I was thinking if you're gonna, you know, I just wanted to make sure I understood the time and
yeah,
it's twice a month right now?
right now it is.
Yeah, otherwise it's just monthly.
And what day? Doesn't,
It's usually a Tuesday, Monday. They're Mondays.
Monday mornings? 2:00, you
No,
said?
2:00 Monday afternoons.
That's why I'm saying we need to get designated times on some of
Yeah.
these, because a lot of them we
I
didn't
was
know where
just
they
gonna
were.
say, as
They
needed
just
is a
say
lot
as
different
needed,
than every
so-
Tuesday.
So I'll throw that out
Say
anyway.
Tuesday. And sometimes you have to realize as these committees, as commissioners, I hate to impose this on you, but a committee might just call a meeting together. It happens very often in my line of work.
Yeah.
The finance will, we need a meeting now, and
Or
so-
personnel.
Or personnel, or
Oh, yep.
policy. So these might be just call you on a whim and you have to attend because we need a voting action. So I can't, I apologize, Commissioner Byer, I do not know that time frame on that one, but we can figure that one out.
Which one, the wellness?
That wellness.
Monday,
Yeah, it's Mondays at 2:00.
Are you sure?
PM.
Okay.
when, you know, what week, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I can help
I
with
didn't
that.
know for sure if it was Mondays.
The next one is January 8th at 2 o'clock.
Okay, very good then. They must have designated a day.
So you're gonna, am I
Yes.
gonna get some kind of notification then, or?
They'll notify you, they'll put it right on your email. But, yeah,
They send a
but if
calendar.
that's something that you'd be
Barb,
interested
do
in.
they send a calendar invite? for
Yeah.
those? Okay.
I'm not, honestly, I don't know how interested I'm in it, but it makes a lot more sense if I'm here than, I mean, from a common sense standpoint.
Yeah.
I agree with you. So
Yeah.
I would certainly be able to help that, you know,
That would be,
but I mean.
Be nice.
yeah, because, yeah. Okay,
Okay. And then CPT is Randy Newman and Denny.
Yep.
And then compliance is Lunaska. And that we just do by email.
Yep.
You get those, okay. Moving on to community growth, county parks and trails. We
I would
have-
like to take myself off that one and put Randy and probably Bob on for
Rod.
Rod. Because I was
planning on
always
that.
the alternate.
That's the one where Les Levine, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yes,
We talked about last night.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, all of these Commissioner 3 ones that are listed on here will automatically go to Bob unless you guys decide else. And then Airport Commission, again, is Newman and Byers. That's the third Wednesday at 3.
I mean, I've been on the Staples Airport 10 years and we've never had a meeting, so
So you'll stay on that one?
I'll stay on that one. I mean,
Yeah, it went really well this year.
looks good.
Region 5 Development Committee, we have Becker and Denny.
Yeah, I would like to stay on that.
Okay, Todd County Development Corp Liaison, Nasca and Denny.
Is that, can I step back, that Region 5 development, is that the stuff you guys are working on now with that
No.
offer?
Region,
Development Corporation, that's the next one.
yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry.
That might be one you might want in on.
And then the next one is the Todd County Development Corp. That's our economic.
We're not
development.
voting members there, we're just
Right.
liaisons. I was informed of that again this week.
Actually, I mean, I know
I
you
can't
got,
vote.
you've got 2 on it already, but
Well, we could flip-flop or something if you guys wanted to, but.
that is probably the one that I'm most interested in on all these, but.
Okay,
Oh,
we can,
Yeah, I don't, we got Fair Board that night too. It doubles up every once in a while, so if you wanna take my spot, I can go to the Fair Board more. I don't,
Okay.
you wanna be
Fair
involved?
Board usually isn't on Mondays though, or not Monday night, is it?
Oh, why did, oh, sorry, that's planning and zoning. I wanna,
Planning and zoning, because you were.
I wanna stay on planning and zoning, if that's all right.
Yeah.
And then that was one of Rod's. I wanna stay
Yeah,
on
go
that
ahead.
one. If you
I'm cool
wanna,
with that.
okay, well, when we get to that one, let's,
I'm just saying, if you wanna get,
I feel like kids are
You wanna-
like
It really
selecting
is.
a team.
if you wanna sink your teeth into that, we can take me
On
out.
economic development?
I can probably
Yep.
stay on that one.
Okay,
too.
so
Or
Todd
you- or
County
whatever you
Development
wanna-
I'll
Corp.
stay, I can stay on that one if you don't mind,
I don't
unless you
mind.
want it. If you
I
really
don't-
want it, Tim, you can have it.
I don't mind. I said,
Take them all.
I wanna get Bob involved too. I don't wanna be like, you gotta take everything we don't want, so.
Well, I think that interests you a little, right, Bob?
What, Todd?
The Development Corporation?
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah.
interest.
Okay.
Take it.
Put
Some
Kick me off.
thoughts.
some thoughts.
I'm off. Playing through.
There you go, Tim, there's
Done.
one 7 o'clock, you don't have to.
Done. Don't worry, we got time. I'll fill it up, I'm
Okay.
sure.
I'm gonna move on to the next one, and these aren't set, we're just, this is
Yeah.
just a work session, so.
Discussing, yes.
Yep, so JD2 Committee, we have Newman and Denny, and that's as needed. Livestock Advisory Committee, we have Byers and Becker, as needed.
And there's another one that we haven't met for years, so
Right, what's going on there?
have no idea.
Todd County HRA, I have lots of them here. I have Nasca, Denny, and Byers as an alternate.
You wanna throw me as an alternate and then you on their buyers?
Yeah, do that for
Okay.
Tim.
That
Tim's
time-
picking up his kids at that time.
That time doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make Denny the alternate, and I'll make Byers a committee member with
Housing and
us.
redevelopment,
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah,
the old folks' homes.
I got it. I know Kim pretty well.
Okay,
I've dealt with Kim. I'm good at that.
okay. Transit Advisory Committee, the Rainbow Rider Joint Powers Ambassador, I have Becker, Newman, and our Byers as a alternate. That's good that way. Okay, and then I have the Advisory Committee for Friendly Rider, that would be a Becker and a Denny.
Tim, do you want to take that one and I'll be the alternate?
What
And
time?
they meet 4 times a year,
Okay, what time?
Second
10
Wednesday.
o'clock. And I got the next meeting.
Second Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be a Denny, and Becker, you'll be an alternate?
I'll be the alternate, and we'll let Tim go ahead.
That was the Friendly Rider one, or what was that?
How's that what
No,
you-
no,
Oh,
yep, the friendly writer is Wadena.
Oh, okay.
That's the one you're talking about, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, got me
well.
confused there.
But you know what? Wadena County always has 2 commissioners there. I'm
Well,
not
I'm
so
saying
sure.
it was
Both
never
of
an
us should
alternate,
not be
so-
there either way.
I think you guys have to be there because it was never listed as alternate.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, we're in
I'm only adding an alternate in cases where there are already 2 and somebody may
Gotcha.
need to
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
think we should both be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
have to be there, I believe.
Yeah,
gotcha.
helps with quorums.
Okay.
Right.
Excuse me.
Okay, Regional Transportation, RTCC, Becker and Newman as alternate.
Yeah, and we do meet. I'm vice chair, yeah.
Okay. Moving along. Environmental Resources Committees. Here we go. Soil Water Liaison, that's typically board and, or chair and vice chair.
Did you do planning and zoning?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that one. Planning Commission and Variance Liaison.
Yeah,
And that's Byers and a Denny.
I like to stay on that one as the primary, if that's all right.
You want to be the primary?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Byers, you're the alternate?
Okay.
You don't want that one?
I was at it. I work with Tim greatly.
Okay, we're gonna make you alternate. We're just gonna
He's a
flip
heck of a
flop.
chap.
Soil, water,
You want?
I know.
soil and water liaison is usually the chair and the vice chair.
Right.
Soil, waste joint powers, that's Denny and Newman as alternate. Recycling committee, solid waste, Denny and Newman. The Sauk Waters District, one watershed, one plan committee.
Yep.
We have Newman and Byers. Long Prairie Watershed Plan, we have a Becker and the Byers.
Yep.
And Mississippi Brainerd Watershed, we have a Becker and Denny as alternate.
And now the Mississippi watershed is kind of more the southern part of Todd County
Okay.
than what it is the northern part, so I'm just kind of, one of those things I stepped in for Rod type deal, and that was just approved. I just got that approval today, so I don't know, if someone else
And
would
dear
like to,
Well, there's the Crow Wing Watershed one, they put me on for the fourth
Yep.
Wednesday at 9:30, and fourth Wednesday at 10, I gotta be in perm for a solid waste one.
That doesn't work.
Okay.
It doesn't work, which I expressed that when they were setting that date. I said, there's no way that works, and then they told me,
In all
Watershed.
honesty, we don't have much Crow Wing
sure.
watershed. It's just a little sliver up there, so if you don't,
Yeah.
we don't really have a say in it anyway.
Well, like I said, I expressed to them, like, that date doesn't work, and they're like, oh,
Don't
we're
go.
going with it.
Okay, so I'm still on,
Mississippi. Bob, do you want to be? And it doesn't make any difference if there are 2 of us there. Like I said, it's to meet the quorums. And we're meeting, maybe, we meet up in Brainerd.
so you'll stay on and Tim is the alternate right now, and you're thinking there should be an alternate from the southern region of the county? Is that what
I'm
you're-
thinking, yeah,
Okay.
What
Are you okay with an alternate position?
Alternate? I can
Well-
alternate.
Because you must not need 2 there, because currently you just have you and
Yeah.
Denny as an alternate.
if Bob wants to go to them, he can go to them. And I'd just cross my name off.
Oh,
Because I'm
that's what you-
already on the Long Prairie.
Quarterly?
It is, because everything has gone through the planning. Now you'll go and you'll approve the projects that they're doing.
Just meet.
So am I looking at Bob to be the main one and Denny is the alternate on this?
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, this is just discussion. You can think of,
Well, no, I mean, and I can stay on it too, but it's,
we're
We'll
just
just
discussing through this.
discuss
So when
this.
you get home, put it in your
yeah,
planner
put it
for,
in and see how
and
it
see
works
how-
for you.
yes.
Well, it'd be nice to see the draft, so like, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff says quarterly, whatever, I don't know what days those are, so,
I don't either. This is
I
the
mean-
problem with this.
Yeah.
We've struggled with this for years,
well,
Mr. Byers.
I mean,
You
get
know,
the
we-
names right and then get the times on there, so, yeah.
It would be nice. We actually asked the commissioners last year to get this data to me.
The ones that
This
say,
is-
the ones that say as needed don't have a date set. Cause if you don't need them, you don't go to them.
Yeah,
There
right.
isn't one, so,
They just call them when they need them.
yeah, and ask. A lot of times it can be by email.
Yes, a lot of that is.
So we only got the 3 lists.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave that one as is then with adding Byers and,
Gary was on the Red Eye Township too.
I'm getting a headache.
The red eye, is that?
The red eye's not even listed.
Because there's
No, it's
barely
not.
any of it in our county.
Yeah, Gary used to go to the meetings.
Right.
Because red eye comes down into that Hewitt
Yeah.
area. Because they do all of their pit closures through the red eye, up in that area at that northwest.
We can ask about
Corner.
adding the red
I say,
eye.
where'd that meeting go then?
I don't know,
Is that called a red eye watershed?
because I know Gary was on that.
Talking about,
All those wonderful one watershed, one plan committees should be listed, and then it's Sauk River, Long Prairie, Mississippi, Wing,
And
Red Eye.
red eye, yeah,
Am I
I'll
missing
check
one?
with soil and water if we,
River is literally us, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
So we should be
Yeah.
primary and alternate, or whatever the case.
yeah.
my concussion is really not doing this good today.
I think this is good. That way we can have time to think before we have to decide.
All right, well then I'm gonna keep going. Water Plan Committee, Todd County, Sauk River Watershed. I have Newman and Byers,
Does that one meet often, Randy?
third
That
Tuesday
meets
month.
once a month.
Does?
Okay, and Douglas County sends 2 commissioners, Pope sends 1, Stern sends 1. We could actually
6
have
o'clock.
2 there because of our size, but just keeps you informed of what's going on.
All right, I'm in.
Right.
Okay, I've got County Noxious Weed Appeal Committee. I have Newman and Denny as needed.
Yeah, we're pretty booked on that one.
That one you hit a lot of?
We do a lot of work. We better both stay on that one.
Okay, then, I'll leave as is.
Damn near daily. It's ridiculous.
You just can't get it all in your schedule. And
No,
so,
we can't.
No.
We've tried.
Brand new 2.
okay, I'm gonna move on to category of community engagement committees. I have AIS, I have Newman and Nasca as needed. Fair Board Committee, I have Nasca and Denny.
Good with
Great
that.
River Regional Library, I have Denny with Becker as an alternate. Extension Committee, I have Becker as an alternate, Newman as an alternate split, and then Byers would be the main. And then Todd County Expo Building Review Committee, we have Becker and Byers.
Yep.
And then Todd County Facility Committee, we have Becker and Byers.
Is that Mitch?
That is, it's the facility, we talk over all the building projects. Yep, and that meets the fourth Friday of every month at 9 AM here. And that one's pretty,
Breakfast at that one? No one, Mitch?
I don't know, you could ask Mitch.
You can have, asking for donuts. Can ask,
She always
might
asks
not
when I do the
receive.
finance. Financer. She doesn't always get it, but she asks.
Bring my own Pop-Tarts.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next category of growth contribution committees. I have Central Minnesota Counseling on Aging. That I have Randy Newman and Nasca as an alternate.
Yep.
Tri-Cap Committee, I have Byers and Nasca.
Yep.
Then I'm moving on to Community Safety Committees. I have Hands of Hope, Todd Morrison. I have Denny. I have Todd Wadena Community Corrections Executive Committee. I have Becker and Nasca. West Central Juvenile Detention Center, I have Becker and Nasca as an alternate. Community Health Service for County Public Health Advisory, Becker and Newman as needed. Community Health Service Region 3 Community Health Executive Board, Becker and Nasca. Opioid Settlement Advisory Council, Byers and Newman as an alternate. I thought so.
Which one?
That opioid one. Oh, the community health, oh yeah, service for Region 3. I think we talked about that we didn't know what it was. Yeah,
That's done. That one's off.
you can just completely remove that one. Yeah,
Okay.
we talked about that when we were,
Freebie.
and then.
Boy, just like that, we're losing me.
Freeing up your nights.
Yep, and the opioid settlement one, like I said, we have Byers and Newman as a alternate. EMS County 14 Board, Becker and Byers. And then I have EMS Task Committee, Becker and Byers. And E911 Committee, I have Byers and Newman. Law Enforcement Law Enforcement Liaison, I have Newman and Denny. Law Library Committee, I have Nasca. Environmental Health Board of Appeals, I have Nasca and Newman. Central Minnesota Emergency Service Council, I have Becker. Region 5 Adult Mental Health Comprehensive Reentry Team, Byers and Nasca.
Haven't met on that one.
And then this is that one we talked about at the beginning, the Todd Wadena Community Correction Advisory Board. I have Becker and Nasca. Discussion on changing
Yeah,
time.
I'll talk with Kathy about
Yeah.
that tonight.
And then Central Minnesota Emergency Services, Denny and Newman as an alternate. And then these miscellaneous ones are official newspaper, that'll be by bid, we won't, and then same thing with that. Here we get with the AMC committee though, in individual committees, and these are very important because when you get to AMC, this is where you get to vote on the legislative platforms. So it's very important to attend to AMC and to be a voting member. They actually give you placards and they count the votes. So public safety, I have Becker. General government, I have Denny. Nope, general government, I have Newman. Environmental natural resources, Denny. Public health board, Erickson. And transportation infrastructure, Nasca. Now, on these, can we make an alternate to each category in the event somebody's not attending? I
think
don't
it
know.
would be good, because sometimes,
Can you or can't you? Were you? Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I probably did.
alternate,
Okay, thank you. Sure, because
Yeah.
public safety would have been,
Lauren, or,
well,
Mike,
the sheriff is there,
Mike.
Alan.
or
And then-
Kathy.
Mike ain't gonna go down.
You know, because Kathy goes to most of our public safety.
Okay, well, either one that's ever at, well, I'll have to check with AMC if we can add an
Yeah,
alternate.
that would be a very good idea to have as an alternate, especially when it goes to
I think that's what
voting.
we've done in the past, because I think one time when I went to general government, I took the placard. So I think you're right. But, okay, so those are things you should think about, and then the county court assignments are on there, so that they would know what the coordinators are attending. So that was good discussion.
Yeah.
And if you have any other changes before we bring this in January, think about those, rescheduling those dates, calendar board for those three. And then there probably, the board protocol, there probably isn't anything to change on there. I just gave it to you to look at. It's just a rough draft. And then these committees. So that's all I had to present. Any other discussion?
Can we discuss a little about board chair and vice chair for next year? Here? at
Sure,
this?
it's a work session. It's
Yeah,
not
it's a
on
work
the agenda,
session.
but you guys can discuss it if you wish.
What I was gonna say is that, you know, if, I don't know what your two wishes are, Randy and Barb, but I could probably facilitate it, but it would be, I'd have to change some of the meeting dates and times of things that are, some of the committees that are already here, unless you guys are happy staying, because I'm okay with that if you want it.
Usually we do a rotation.
I know usually, but if, since we've got so much mix up here and so many changes here, I'm open to the.
Mr. Chair, if I may, in the past, there is a designated rotation, but in the past, years and years and years ago, I think as Commissioner Nasca is stating, because we have three newer commissioners, these two positions mandate a lot of time and a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge that maybe the new ones have not gained yet. I'm not saying they're not knowledgeable in the field, but I can speak from being the auditor treasurer that when you sit in that chair position, there's been days where you've been here at 8 in the morning to 6 at night when it's a negotiating day and we don't get to leave. We are locked in this room and food is brought into us.
That's correct.
So I'm just stating that I think Commissioner Nasca has a very good point. That's something you should look at going into January when you decide chair and vice chair. And maybe as they gain experience, they can go into those roles. And that's just my own personal opinion, but that's your decision to make. But I do agree with Commissioner Nasca that you don't have to follow rotation, you can assign.
And one of my concerns is with Coordinator Pelzer leaving, That's, you're gonna
That's a
assume.
hard hit.
The chair and vice chair are gonna assume more responsibility.
Until
the new
that position
coordinator.
is filled, the chair and vice chair may also end up sitting in interviews.
Right.
I mean, so there's time there. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm thinking, because I'm here all day, I know the committees, and I'm sure Jackie can speak of it. She does a lot of interviewing down in their division, so.
And
I'm just
also-
saying, there's a lot of responsibility that
Same
comes.
with the interviewing, you guys may have to, whoever the chair and vice chair, they may have to be in a lot of those interviews.
We haven't done that for several years.
No.
HR usually takes care, yeah.
The department heads usually take care of it.
Usually.
Department heads, it's all commissioners.
And once in a while, we'll sit in on them, depending on who we're hiring.
Yep, as a commissioner, you can sit on any interview you would like.
And if you would be willing to take that responsibility on, I'd be willing to take some of your other meetings if you need me to lighten the load on you guys as well. So, I mean, I'm not trying to pass the buck by any means. I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna have to mix up some of these meeting days and times for, say, you know, the personnel committee might have to be changed to Wednesdays or something like that, you know, for me, just because of my schedule, if I were to take that. But, you know, I'd be willing to take some of your other committees off your hands if need be, because I know it's quite a workload, and I know it's
My
thankless, I
personal
get it.
opinion, I think Randy and I, with experience coming in this year, I think we should remain chair, vice chair. We're going into negotiations this year.
Elections.
Elections is a lot to handle. It just is. And I don't know how you guys feel.
And, yeah, we're
But-
not making a decision right now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that to
Yeah.
you guys here, with everybody here.
Good discussion. And these committees, we will be passing that on the last board meeting so that they're in place for January.
Made in January, first meeting. in January.
The first meeting in January.
So we do get one more meeting until then, but
Is traditionally a rotating deal?
It had been.
Has been, but
we're three different.
Yeah,
three
you're
new-
three new
Yeah, I mean,
chairs.
obviously, I'm like, you know,
Right, you're fresh.
I just got drafted, so.
Yeah,
Just signed up.
yeah, usually it goes, you know, where Tim would step in as
This way now.
vice chair. You know, but it's, like I said, this coming year is going to be a very
I mean,
time-consuming year again. Very.
in the short time that I've been here, I can see that, like, you know, my own opinion is, and I know I've talked to other commissioners a little bit, that, you know, yeah, the Chris deal is a huge deal. I mean, some of that's organized, boy.
Yeah.
We're gonna be, I mean, we get, win, or however we can get that position filled, with the right person, with the
Right.
right person.
With
That's
the right
really, really
person.
and
important.
that's gonna take all five
I
of
mean,
us.
Yeah, and we will all five be sitting in on those interviews.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
It's big shoes to fill
Huge.
that you're gonna have
It'll
to
be,
step up.
it'll be
Yeah.
a change of pace, I'm sure.
Well, as long as we're all open to, have open minds about this and do some common sense stuff, like he said, Barbara, if I can help out with something that's closer so you don't have to drive. then
yep,
you know,
exactly right, you know.
Is what it is. So
Yeah,
We gotta give a little here for the best of everybody.
yeah.
And if
And
you-
I really like this open conversation. We've never had this before, doing committees. It's just, this is you, okay, I take it.
The way it
You
should
know.
be.
Yeah, and if there's something you're interested in and you wanna be on it,
That's where you should be.
yep.
And I will be bringing that up the
Yep.
29th.
We're gonna have this at a work session again? Would we be,
Oh, that's
No,
gotta be passed by the first of the year, so we'll be doing that.
the committees do? Will they pass by the first of
Yeah.
the year? Okay, so it'll be
So-
passed at the next.
Let's see what she says.
And-
Well,
and
we'll
s-
pass it on January 2nd, but we post it on the 29th, so it'll be part of the packet, so you'll see it. But we'll do it at the first meeting when we do everything, the chair, the vice chair.
Chair, the vice chair,
Committees.
accept the dates, accept the
Except the
committees.
legal paper, all that political stuff we do at the first board meeting.
That whole thing about negotiations, I think is gonna be really, I mean, my estimation, important, having done a few of those in private. It's like, you're gonna set the stage for some compensation wage deals for the next, however long the contract is, so.
Usually, we go for a 3-year contract.
You could get,
We've done 1-year contracts, so.
you could get, I mean, that's vitally important to have some experience, at least in my mind, in that, process, so.
And then my only other recommendation, expanding on Commissioner Noska's, is that if you do decide to stay where you're at, I think for recording for board, you should flip, and she should be chair and you should be vice. Because you've been chair this year, so when I'm doing documentation, it's just my opinion, but if you're gonna stay in those, I would flip. It's just my opinion, but you can do what you want.
And some of our meetings are on Zoom. So yet, and I can't explain that, and I have other meetings that it's mandatory to be there in person. So again, if there's something you guys can't make and you think it's important for one of us to be there, let one of us know so we can go, and if we have to make more alternates, we can make more alternates.
I think that's the most important thing, is to have someone present for the county to be there to vote or to express your opinion.
And if some committee has a hot topic where you all wanna be, you just need to notify my office 3 days, so we can do the 3-day post.
Yeah.
That you may or not be attending as a full board. Cause you can do that, we just have to post it.
And I think one of the ones coming up is the planning and zoning meeting
Yes.
coming, the first
And
meeting
we-
in January.
we do have that
So
posted.
we might want to be present,
Right.
just to listen to the discussion going on.
Exactly. So
We can all
that's
be
always an
present?
option.
Everybody can be present at that?
If
Yeah.
Yep,
if
as
we
long as
post
we
it,
post it.
we have,
Too, right?
yeah, we have to post it
We have to post it.
3 days in advance.
That was a heavily attended meeting from what I.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's so good to be there in person to hear their concerns.
So I'll just add this on. I did ask Chris when I was down at AMC to get us all a book of Robert's Rules of Order, so you can just go through them. It just gives you a little bit on parliamentary proceedings and stuff like that. Yeah. So, is there anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Can I add that Todd County's against the new Minnesota flag on the next agenda?
That we do not support a new flag?
I wouldn't support it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
We don't
okay.
support it.
All right.
That's a bunch of, what was wrong with the old one?
Well, the unfortunate thing that people don't realize is this will cost us money because it's not replacing flags.
I know that.
It's replacing all of our seals.
Again, an unfunded mandate where nobody got to have a
Seals,
say in it.
logos on headers,
That looks
everything,
like
I mean.
Business
it's-
cards.
Our seals that we have to
Yeah,
seal.
I've been
is
told
like
that
a
Business
before.
cards,
Yeah.
Bob's in the money here.
Printers, those guys are.
Oh,
Okay.
and printers.
We're recessed.
All right.
So, thank you.
Thank you.